Look, I want you to imagine something for me. It's the 28th of the month, you check your bank account, and there's $247 sitting there. You get paid in 3 A's. You haven't saved a single dollar this month. Again. And here's the kicker. You made pretty good money this month. You weren't reckless, you didn't buy anything crazy, the money just disappeared. If that scenario made your stomach drop a little bit, this video is for you. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart people with good incomes are completely terrible at saving money. If you're someone who makes decent money, has good intentions, swears you're going to start saving next month but somehow never does, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Today, we're talking about automated saving systems. And I'm not talking about that generic advice you've heard 1,000 times. We're going into the actual psychology of why your brain sabotages your savings, the specific systems that override that sabotage, and the math that proves why this matters way more than you think. Here's the thing about saving money. We treat it like it's a willpower problem. We think, I just need more discipline. I just need to want it more. And that's complete nonsense. There's this study from Duke University, and this number is wild. They found that about 45% of our daily behaviors are habits, not decisions. Almost half of what you do every day, you do automatically. You're not thinking about it, you're just doing it. Now here's what most people don't realize. Your spending? That's already automated. Think about it. You wake up, you grab coffee, probably from the same place, you get lunch, probably spending roughly the same amount, you see something on Amazon, you click Buy Now because your payment info is saved. You're not sitting down every time thinking, should I really purchase this coffee? You just do it. Your spending is frictionless. But your saving? That requires a decision every single time. You have to actively choose to transfer money. You have to remember to do it. You have to fight the voice in your head saying, I'll do it next week when I have more left over. See the problem? Spending is automatic. Saving is manual. And in that fight, manual loses every single time. I was talking to a friend about this last month. She makes $85,000 a year. That's good money. She told me, I really want to save more, but I just don't have anything left at the end of the month. So I asked her, how much did you save last month? $0. How much the month before? 0. How about the month before that? You get the idea. Here's where it gets really interesting. I asked her, if your rent went up by $200 a month, what would you do? And she looked at me like I was crazy and said, well, I'd pay it. I'd have to. Exactly. She'd find the money. Not because she suddenly became more disciplined, but because it became non-negotiable and automatic. That's the secret. We don't have a money problem. We have an automation problem. Now, you might be thinking, okay, John, but I've tried automatic transfers before, and I just end up transferring the money back when I need it. Yeah, I hear you, and that's because you're doing it wrong. There's this concept in behavioral economics called mental accounting. Basically, your brain treats money differently depending on where it is and how you think about it. Money in your checking account? That's spendable money. Money in a savings account at the same bank? Still feels pretty spendable, doesn't it? You can transfer it back in literally 30 seconds. But here's what actually works. You need friction, not for saving, for unsaving. A study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that when people had to wait even just 2 business days to access their savings, they were 67% less likely to tap into it for non-emergencies. 2 days, that's it. Your brain needs just enough inconvenience to pause and think, do I actually need this or do I just want it? Look, your brain is essentially lazy. That's not an insult. It's designed to conserve energy. It takes the path of least resistance every single time. So if the path of least resistance is spending, you'll spend. If the path of least resistance is saving, you'll save. This is why people who say, just have more willpower are missing the entire point. Willpower is a limited resource. There's actual research on this. It's called ego depletion. Every decision you make throughout the day drains your willpower tank a little bit. By 8 p.m., after you've made hundreds of decisions, you've got nothing left. That's when you order takeout instead of cooking. That's when you buy random stuff online. That's when you tell yourself, I'll start saving next month. We're not trying to build willpower. We're trying to eliminate the need for it entirely.
All right, so let's get into the actual systems. And I'm going to give you 3 different approaches because here's the thing, not everyone's situation is the same. System 1, the percentage paycheck split. This is the foundational system, and if you do nothing else from this video, do this. The day you get paid, literally the same day, you automatically move money out of your checking account. Not when you have extra, not when you feel like it. The day it hits. Here's the exact math. Let's say you make $5,000 a month after taxes. Most people try to save what's left over, which, as we've established, is 0. Instead, you're going to save first. Start with 10%. That's $500. The moment your paycheck hits, $500 automatically goes to a high-yield savings account at a completely different bank. Not the same bank, different bank. This is critical.
Now, you might be thinking, John, I can't afford to save $500 a month. Here's my frustrated voice. Yes, you can, because if your rent went up by $500, you'd find a way to afford it. You'd adjust. You'd cut back somewhere. You'd make it work because you'd have to. This is the same thing, except you're paying your future self instead of your landlord. But let's say you're genuinely living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, start with 3%. 3% of $5,000 is $150. Is that going to make you a millionaire overnight? No. But here's what it does. It builds the habit. It creates the automatic system. And in 6 months, when you get a raise or when you cut some expense you forgot you were paying for, you bump it to 5%, then 7%, then 10%. The specific percentage matters less than the automation and the consistency. Now, here's where people mess this up. They keep the savings at the same bank as their checking account. Don't do that. Use a bank like Ally, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, or any high-yield savings account that takes 2 to 3 business days to transfer money back. That delay is your friend. It's just enough friction to make you think twice. System 2, the expense replacement method. This one's sneaky, and I love it. Every time you eliminate an expense, you automatically redirect that exact amount to savings. Let me give you a real example. You're paying $12.99 for a streaming service you barely use. You cancel it. Most people just absorb that $12.99 back into their spending. It disappears into groceries or gas or whatever. Instead, the day you cancel that subscription, you set up a $13 automatic monthly transfer to savings. You never see that money. Your lifestyle doesn't change because you were already living without it. You just weren't noticing. This is incredibly powerful because it's completely painless. You're not cutting your lifestyle, you're just preventing lifestyle inflation. Here's the math on this. Average American has about 5 subscriptions they don't really use. We're talking streaming services, app subscriptions, gym memberships they don't attend. That's roughly $50 to $75 a month. Cancel those, redirect that money to automatic savings, and you're saving an extra $600 to $900 a year without changing your actual lifestyle at all. But here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you pay off your car. You were paying $350 a month. Most people celebrate by absorbing that money into their lifestyle. They eat out more, they upgrade their shopping, the money vanishes. Instead, and stay with me here, you keep making that $350 payment, except now you're paying yourself. Automatic transfer, same amount, same day of the month, except it goes to your savings account. You were already living on your income minus $350. Nothing about your lifestyle has to change. You just redirected the flow. System 3, the amplifier roundup. Okay, this one's for the people who think, John, I'm already doing automatic transfers and I want to do more. There are apps like Acorns, Digit, or even features built into banks like Bank of America that round up your purchases and save the difference. You spend $3.47 on coffee, it rounds to $4 and saves 53 cents. By itself, that's not changing your life. You might save $30 to $50 a month. That's fine, but it's not moving the needle. Here's what you do instead. Take whatever your Roundup app saves in a month and multiply it by 10. Then set up an automatic monthly transfer for that amount. So if your Roundup saved $43 this month, You set up a $430 automatic monthly transfer. Why? Because the roundups proved you can handle that amount of saving without noticing it. You just did it. You just saved that money in tiny increments and your lifestyle didn't collapse.
This is basically using the Roundup system as a test to find your actual savings capacity, then amplifying it through automation. Look, I need to show you why this actually matters, because numbers make this real. Let's say you're 30 years old. You implement these systems and you're saving $600 a month. That's not some crazy number. That's 10% of a $72,000 salary, or 15% of a $48,000 salary. Totally doable for a lot of people. $600 a month for 30 years at an average 8% return, which is below the historical stock market average, gives you $895,000. You're literally a millionaire from $600 a month that you automated and forgot about. But here's the thing nobody talks about. If you wait 10 years to start, if you spend your 30s saying, "I'll start next year," and you don't begin until you're 40, you now need to save $1,400 a month to hit that same number. You more than doubled the required amount by waiting a decade. That's the cost of not automating this now, not someday, now. And here's what most people don't realize. The majority of that $895,000 isn't even your money. You only put in $216,000 over those 30 years. The other $679,000? That's compound interest. That's growth. That's your money making more money while you sleep. But it only works if the money actually gets saved. If it's sitting in your checking account, you'll spend it. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. There's this researcher, Shlomo Benartzi, who studied automatic enrollment in 401k plans. When companies made enrollment automatic, meaning you had to opt out instead of opt in, participation went from 49% to 86%. Same people, same company. The only thing that changed was the default setting. That's a 37 percentage point increase in retirement savings from one simple change in automation. That's how powerful this is. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. John, what about emergencies? What if I need that money? Great question. This is why you're building an emergency fund first. Before you save for anything else, you build up 3 to 6 months of expenses in that separate high-yield savings account. That's your buffer. That's your safety net. But here's the thing, and I'm going to be a little bit harsh here. Most emergencies aren't emergencies. A sale at your favorite store is not an emergency. Your friend's birthday isn't an emergency. You wanting to upgrade your phone isn't an emergency. A real emergency is a medical issue, a job loss, your car breaking down, emergency home repairs. Those are emergencies. And yes, you need money for those. That's the emergency fund. Everything else, that's just spending that you can plan for. And if you can plan for it, you can save for it separately and intentionally. But John, I have debt. Shouldn't I pay that off first? It depends. If you have high-interest credit card debt, anything over 15%, yeah, attack that first. But you still save $50 to $100 a month while you do it. Why? Because you're building the automation habit. You're proving to yourself that you can save. If you have student loans at 4% interest or a mortgage at 3.5%, you save and pay those off simultaneously because the psychological benefit of building savings momentum is worth more than the small interest rate difference. What if I automate my savings and then I overdraft my checking account? Then you automated too much too fast. This is why I said start with 3% if you need to. You should never be cutting it so close that a $150 transfer causes an overdraft. If that's happening, we need to look at your spending, not your saving. But here's the real answer. After 2 to 3 months of automation, you'll naturally adjust your spending to your new available money. Remember how I said if your rent went up, you'd adjust? Same thing. Your brain is incredibly adaptive when it has to be. All right, here's exactly what you're going to do. Not think about doing, actually do. This week. Step 1. Open a high-yield savings account at a different bank than your checking account. I don't care which one, Ally, Marcus, Discover, whichever has the best rate when you do this. Just make sure it's not the same bank. This should take you 15 minutes. Step 2. Calculate 10% of your monthly take-home pay.
If that number scares you, start with 5%. If that still scares you, start with 3%. But pick a number. Step 3, set up an automatic transfer for that amount on the day after you get paid. If you get paid on the 1st, transfer goes out on the 2nd. Every single month, no exceptions. Step 4, delete the app for that savings account from your phone. I'm serious. You can access it on your computer if you need to, but it shouldn't be one tap away. That's friction. That's good. Step 5, every 3 months, increase your savings rate by 1%. You won't even notice it. If you're saving 5% now, in 3 months, you're saving 6%. 3 months after that, 7%. Before you know it, you're at 15% and your lifestyle hasn't changed at all because the increases were gradual. Here's the thing about automation. It's boring. It's not exciting. Nobody's going to make a viral TikTok about setting up automatic transfers, but boring is what works. Boring is what builds wealth. You know what's exciting? Checking your savings account a year from now and seeing $7,200 sitting there that you didn't even think about. That's exciting. Or 5 years from now, having $40,000 saved up and realizing you could handle a job loss, or take a sabbatical, or make a career change, or just breathe easier because you have options. That's the real goal here. Not just having money, having options, having freedom, having the ability to say no to things you don't want to do because you're not desperate. Look, I've been doing this a long time, and here's what I've noticed. The people who succeed with money aren't smarter than everyone else. They're not making more money than everyone else. They're not more disciplined or more motivated. They just have better systems. That's it. That's the whole secret. They set up systems that work whether they feel like it or not, whether they're motivated or not, whether they remember or not. You can be having the worst week of your life, and your automated savings system is still working. You can be on vacation, completely checked out, and you're still saving money. That's the power of this. There's this quote I love from James Clear. He wrote Atomic Habits. He says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." Your goal might be to save $50,000. That's great. But if your system is, try to remember to save money when I have extra, you're going to fail. Every single time. Your system needs to be, every month on the 2nd, $600 automatically moves to my savings account at a different bank. That's a system. That works whether you remember it or not, whether you feel like it or not. And here's the beautiful part. Once you set this up, it just runs. You'll forget it's even happening. And then one day, maybe a year from now, maybe 5 years from now, you'll check that account and you'll realize you completely changed your financial life without thinking about it every single day. That's what we're trying to build here. Not a perfect budget that requires constant attention, not an intense sacrifice where you're miserable, just a boring automatic system that builds wealth while you focus on living your life. So here's what I want you to do right now. Don't wait. Don't say you'll do it tomorrow. Pause this video and open that savings account. Set up that transfer. Do the boring thing that actually works. If this video helped you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I make videos about money and psychology and the intersection of the two every week. Give it a thumbs up if you found this valuable. And leave a comment letting me know, what percentage are you going to start with? What's your automated savings system going to look like? I read every comment and I want to know. Your future self is going to thank you for this, I promise. Now go do it.